The combination of the harsh cold, minimal interaction with people, and minimal exposure to sunlight can really affect your mood. Harsh winters can be detrimental to your mental health, especially if it's already struggling or strained. Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Lydia Atandi. If you are a returning viewer, I want to thank you so much for watching and welcome back to another episode of Diaspora Honey and Beestings. Please consider subscribing if you haven't yet. I want to say a big thank you to the people that subscribed after I made that introductory video setting up the new channel to a great start with 125 subscribers. If you are a new viewer, thank you for tuning in and welcome to the family. In this channel, I speak about things that I'm passionate about. I am currently on a series called Diaspora Honey and Beestings. Diaspora Honey and Beestings series, and under that I talk about the good things, the not so good things, and the culture shock that I have experienced when the culture shock I experienced when I relocated to the US. I'm doing this with the hope that we can learn from each other's experiences, and also just because it's kind of nice and fun to share experiences. So as I mentioned in my previous video, I was born and raised in Kenya. I relocated to the US in 2014, and as I make this video, I am almost 10 years old in the US. Today's video will be an icebreaker, literally and figuratively. It's an icebreaker literally because as I work on this video, we are right in the thick of that icy, wintry weather. It's also an icebreaker figuratively because it's a light topic before we get to dive into deeper conversations. We will be discussing, drum rolls, the bitter winter. Now, before you come for me and go like, did this girl really invite us to her channel so we can talk about the weather? I want to pinpoint that yes, adjusting to the significantly colder weather is a point of culture shock for people that are new to countries that experience winter. Today, I will be sharing 5 reasons why I had a hard time adjusting to winter in the US. Without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing that made it hard for me to adjust to winter is the brutal nature of it. Now, if you live in a warm place or in warmer states of the US, such as Arizona, Florida, or California, and you have never lived in a cold state, count yourself lucky in relation to this. However, if you have experienced life in the colder states such as North Dakota or Montana or Minnesota, which is a state that is notorious for its harsh winters, then you know what I'm talking about. I'll give you a bit of a background. So growing up, I watched a lot of Christmas movies and I prayed to God that He let me experience at least one snowy winter in my life. When that prayer came to fruition, I finally understood what people mean when they say, be careful what you pray for because it just may happen. Now, winters coming to fruition in my life has not necessarily been a bad thing, but I have just never really gotten fully used to them. My first experience of winter was in Zurich, in Switzerland, and that's why I had a layover as I first flew from Kenya to the US. When I was out of the plane, I looked out of the window and I remember just marveling at this vast piece of land outside that was covered in a velvety carpet of white snow. I was so excited and I was like, finally. So when we stepped out of the plane, I was like, whoa, I just remember this gust of cold wind hitting my face. That snowy weather was good from far, but far from good. I was a little lucky to have been wearing a thick trench coat, but that only offered me about 20% protection from that unforgiving bite of cold that greeted me. So when I finally got to Kansas, which was my final destination, I hoped to have a warm reception, literally. But the only warmth I experienced was in the smiles and the hugs of my cousin and my sister-in-law as they welcomed me. The rest, as they say, is history. So just to put it into context, if you have never experienced winter, for example, here in Kansas, temperatures in the winter drop to an average of about 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Or 5 degrees Celsius, which is about 3 times the amount of coldness I was used to when I lived in Nairobi. In Nairobi, cold days, Nairobi is a city in Kenya for those who are not Kenyan. In Nairobi, like temperatures would be like 15 degrees on the cold days, why I haven't moved to Awaba State yet is a topic for another day. But if you want us to get along, don't be suggesting some outdoor winter activities, okay? I love the snow and ice from a distance. I still love how beautiful it looks outside when it snows, but I appreciate the view best when there's an insulating barrier, like a wall or a window in between me and the snow or the ice. The best solution to that, of course, will be, to move to a warm place or to vacation in a warm place every time there's winter. But before I get that going, I like to maintain a respectable distance from the cold. Have you ever felt like the cold weather has something against you? I have, many times. That's why I choose to stay away from it. So the second reason that made it hard for me to adjust to the cold is increased risk on the roads. A common phenomenon during winter is icy weather. It is quite unpleasant when there's icy weather, not only because it's colder than snowy weather, but it also makes it riskier to drive since the roads get so slick. The other thing about it is that it can take up about 10 to 30 minutes of your time just defrosting the car and taking off all the ice before you drive it. And especially if you haven't parked at a garage or a roofed area, you're going to have to spend some time defrosting. Now, of course, these issues are manageable and you learn how to go around them easier the longer you stay here, but they can be a real pain each time you experience them. The third reason that made it unpleasant for me to adjust to the winter is that my electric bill always doubles and sometimes triples during the winter. And it's not just me, but many people experience shoots in their electric bill during winter because of using more energy to heat up their houses. Also, people tend to spend more time taking hot showers and use more lighting since they're indoors a lot longer during winter. And this is just bound to have a skyrocketing effect on electrical bills. So over the years, I have found different ways to not let the bill increase so much, but I inevitably always just pay a significantly higher bill during the winter compared to other seasons. There's already plenty of bills in this country, so one of them going up does not make things any better. So another reason that made it hard for me to get used to the winter is that everything dries up. Yes, starting from your skin to your hair to your plants if you're growing any, and you've just got to keep moisturizing your skin and your hair, otherwise they'll get all dried and dulled up. This is a bummer for people who care about keeping their skin and hair soft and supple. One thing that took a beating when I moved to the US is my natural hair. My poor natural hair. When I lived in Nairobi, I had long, silky natural hair, but when I moved to the US, the combination of chilly winter and hard water and other factors largely compromised the length and thickness of my hair. And I know a lot of African ladies that have had the same thing happen, which I wish was different. The final reason that made it hard for me to adjust to winter is its effect on my mood. The combination of the harsh cold, minimal interaction with people, and minimal exposure to sunlight can really affect your mood. Harsh winters can be detrimental to your mental health, especially if it's already struggling or strained. There was one particular year I was going through a whole lot, and the fact that it was winter just worsened how I was feeling. So some of the ways that I have learned to negate the effect of winter on my mood include jumping on opportunities for interaction with the people I love. Also, I said if I'm going to stay indoors, I will be intentional on spending time on things that enhance my well-being, such as prayer, working out, cooking, and practicing my musical hobbies, among other things. Now, I know I have expressed a strong dislike for winter, but despite that, I said I have two options. I can choose to be passive and complain about the winter the whole time and end up feeling worse, or I can be intentional about keeping things positive and working on maintaining my happiness despite the unpleasant weather. I choose the latter. How about you? What has been your experience like? Have you warmed up to the winter literally or figuratively, or are you someone that has never experienced winter and are eager to go through it? Are you totally fed up with it and you just want to move states or places like yesterday? Let me know in the comment section. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this video about my winter experiences. But I know I've ranted a lot, but that was just my real experience. Please let us know what yours was as well. Subscribe if you haven't, and I can't wait to see you guys on the next video.